What is the Kopitiam? The Kopitiam, meaning coffee shop, dates to colonial times where it was characterized as a small eating place specific to ethnicity. Male immigrants will often gather to chat about news, eat, and play cards, creating local communities within them. Men could come together to engage in coffee shop talk, which consisted of any discussion, light or serious. In the 1960s till the 1990s, Singapore's urbanization caused many of these stores to be displaced from their locations to provide space for HDB estates, relocating them to different locations in different estates. With the change in location, the need to accommodate to multicultural and multi-ethnic clientele emerged as most of the stores were previously located in ethnic-based locations. Kopitiams evolved to provide the same environment as before, but evolved to accommodate dining options for multi-ethnic groups. Throughout the changes, one thing remained constant: the Kopitiam culture, which can be seen to be essentialized by the presence of community building through conversation and games in the coffee shop. In 2024, modernized Kopitiams are quintessential in today's neighborhoods. One of the pioneers of these modernized Kopitiams is Kofu, which began as a humble coffee shop business, opening its first outlet at Toa Payoh Central in 2002, focused on preserving the Kopitiam culture. As an economic boom was underway in Singapore, a shift in dining behaviour had occurred, forcing coffee shops to evolve with them, pioneering an evolution of Singapore's traditional kopitiams into modernised versions. Kofu now boasts over 50 stores island-wide, led by founder Mr. Pang Lim, and have become a staple in Singapore neighbourhoods. So, why and how did Singaporean dining behaviours change over this period? Has Kofu been successful in preserving the Kopitiam culture? And if so, how did Kofu evolve to ensure its survival? To find out more, I headed down to Tampines Mart's Kofu outlet. Tampines used to be home to 7 different kampong villages, of which eventually grew into Singapore's first precinct town with HDBs erected in place of the kampong villages. Tampines East is home to 25,000 residents who rely on Tampines Mart for their necessities, since the Mart contains a supermarket, a gym, and other homeware stores. Due to this outlet's central location in the east and its all-inclusive amenities and services, it is often patronized by working adults from Tampines Central and Changi Industrial Park, students from the schools surrounding the Mart, and residents around the area. My first visit was on Sunday afternoon, where I attempted to capture the dining behaviours on a weekend lunch from 11 to 1 pm until the late afternoon from 2 to 5 pm. The first impression of the location was that the Kopitiam was comfortable, aesthetic and clean. At the 11 am slot, I observed many elderly people drinking coffee and conversing over the breakfast set. There were a few families having breakfast and fewer dining individually. Most people came in groups of 4 to 6 at a time, and as lunch approached, more groups of families entered, ordering meals from a variety of stores. At 2 pm to 5 pm, the crowd was dimmed down, with most tables unoccupied with sparsely distributed groups of elderly. I did, however, encounter a group of youth who consented to an interview. Joseph says that although he has stuff to study and he is not on holiday, he still wants to relax a bit, so he comes out to have lunch and plays basketball. Tian Yang, who is in NS, thinks that even though he is in NS, he still wants to spend his time back here catching up with friends before going back to camp. On my second visit, I observed how the dining behaviour was on a weekday. From 11 to 1 pm, I observed many office workers from Boeing, GE Aerospace, Applied Materials and Thales in collared shirts moving in and out of the Kofu outlet, most of them spending on average about 30 minutes eating and conversing lightly over the table. They order a wide selection of different foods amongst the multi-ethnic diners. From 2 to 3 pm, I observed students entering the Kofu outlet, possibly after school. They spent a good amount of time eating, drinking, and speaking to their friends. An anonymous secondary school student mentioned that he comes here with his friends after school to eat lunch before CCA, and that during days which he did not have CCA, he could not spend much time at Kofu because he had tuition commitments after school. From 3 to 5 pm, I observed many elderly sitting and conversing over cups of coffee and plates of toast. I asked them about why they chose to hang out here, and they mentioned that there was a silver card privilege which provided seniors a discounted coffee toast set. They said, "We play Pokemon Go and drink coffee here to escape the heat while enjoying the discounted coffee as well. We will also talk about our kids and how we teach our kids and exchange our methods with one another." I also met with Freda, who lived in a kampong in Chai Chee from 1957 and 1962. In a sharing, she reinforced the literature review on kampong coffee shops of the past, describing the poor environment, single ethnic foods, and lack of variety of foods. How have Singaporeans' dining behaviours changed? During weekdays, the crowd seems to consist of mostly students and office workers who patronise Kofu for lunch. While there were still groups of residents consuming their food slowly while chatting, it was clear that there was a larger proportion of those who were caught up in responsibilities that hindered them from taking their time. Why is this so? According to Chua's paper on nostalgia for the kampong, the fast-paced lifestyle of Singaporeans reflects the boundless pursuit of excellence that the Singapore population upholds, leaving no time for socialization and rest. The claim is further supported through the interviews conducted, which revealed the high expectations that a secondary school student had on himself, substantiating the educational pressure placed on its residents since a young age. Moreover, Freda also points out that people are busier and do not have the time to idle at a coffee shop. On the other hand, as seen in the weekend sample and the weekday afternoon sample, it is evident that there are residents spending time at Kofu to socialize and wind down. Elderly residents, mostly unemployed, face less of the stresses and hustles of modern Singaporean culture and therefore can enjoy spending time socializing over a cup of coffee in the afternoon. Similarly, I observed that some of the younger generation view Kofu as an escape from their stressful reality, as an intermediate checkpoint where they may spend time with their friends, playing games and talking about their week in a comfortable environment and at an affordable price. Despite not having experienced a traditional kampong coffee shop directly, perhaps there is a yearning for a lighter paced lifestyle which these residents achieve through taking a break at Kofu. How has Kofu evolved and has it been successful in keeping traditional Kopitiam culture? According to Lai's paper on the Kopitiam in Singapore, an evolving story about migration and cultural diversity, Kopitiams have adapted to the changing needs of Singaporeans, accommodating to a more multicultural palette, elevating dining management and environment while preserving the essence of a traditional Kopitiam and its cuisines. From the visit, I observed that there were a few key reasons cited by diners on their choice for dining at Kofu. Firstly, variety, discounts, and affordability of food choice. Secondly, clean and refreshing infrastructure. And lastly, convenience. I believe that Kofu has been successful as a kopitiam in evolving to the changing landscape of Singapore, providing for a multicultural palette, encouraging community dining, while preserving iconic coffee shop dishes like economy rice and kaya toast with coffee. Kofu has also shown endurance through their pristine infrastructure, which differ largely from the traditional kopitiam, characterized by its non-air-conditioned and dirty environment, and instead embraces the advent of technology and uses it to improve the dining experience, catering to a younger generation of Singaporeans' population. The strategic planning of Kofu was also evident through their use of discounted prices for residents and elderly during afternoon periods, which successfully attracted and provided an affordable snack and space to socialize. Furthermore, I believe that Kofu has successfully preserved the Kopitiam culture. Their conducive environment, choice of foods, and deals have been successful in attracting both older and newer generations from multi-ethnic backgrounds to socialize and engage in enjoyable activities in Kofu. The older generation can spend time conversing with each other while enjoying a cup of coffee, while the younger generation may spend time chatting away and playing games together on their phones. Albeit the slight changes, I believe that the essence of the Kopitiam culture is still very much kept alive, and the establishment has only evolved infrastructurally to adapt to the times and become a more inclusive space for community building. While the old Kopitiam may gradually diminish, its contemporary counterpart might not be as inadequate as we have initially perceived. Despite our enduring fondness for the past and the laid-back atmosphere of traditional kopitiams, perhaps we can view modern establishments as a refuge, providing an opportunity to momentarily step away from the hustles and bustles of everyday life and simply enjoy a cup of coffee.